Hi, I'm Suzanne Barron. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Please share the footages. Follow the Facebook page, um, because this helps. This helps reach people. If you share it to your feed, then there's more people reached in that way. Um, I haven't gotten a lot of readers to the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John book yet. There are two people that I know have read it. There's inmates in the jails, but I'm not getting any feedback from that because I've been sending the books into the jails every week. I mail out 4 books to a random jail, and all like across America. So far, I think I'm at like personal donations, 30 something books. Um, Eventually, I'll reach rehabs and mental facilities and stuff like that. But I'm sitting here thinking like, where's my life headed? Which direction am I going now that I'm done? Like, what do I do with my life now that I'm done writing this book? Um, what do I want to do with my life? You know, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to help people that are suffering. Um, just trying to figure out the ropes of that, like which direction I'm going, and do I go to AA counseling and start talking and meeting people and preaching to them there, or maybe become a drug counselor, help people in that area, give them my book, teach them the Word of God, and what's happening to them. Um, Jesus tells me I can live any life I want because He knows I'm headed in the right direction. And but I sacrificed. I keep hearing it. I sacrificed everything I had on Olean's Lane because I could hear those women and children. If you haven't watched my videos before, um, I owned a piece of property, had a cleaning business. It was a successful cleaning business. I was doing very well. I had 2 cars. One was a work truck. One was my Impala. 11 Impalas. Rebuilt 2 of them. The work truck I was going to give to my daughter. I traded it for another car, and I lost that too. That's irrelevant. But I was doing okay. You know what I mean? I was doing fine. I was doing okay. I was sober. Was on probation. I was on probation. Um, but I was doing all right in that sense. But I wasn't doing okay really because I believed that my neighbors were housing women and children nearby at first. Not at first. I thought it was like my boyfriend's cheating on me. The noise of sex is what I kept hearing, and then that went to they weren't just having sex with women; they were actually raping the women. That's why I kept hearing that. And I guess for those newcomers, this is what schizophrenia does. Okay, so I just want to clear this up. Nobody was raping anybody. Nobody was harming anybody. There was no women and children, but I did hear them, and I heard them, and I had recorded them, and other people had listened to the recordings, and some people would hear some things, and some people wouldn't. Um, I've got a picture of a demon on my Facebook page. I say this one a lot, but I remember I took a recording once to an officer, and the recording was like it was a male that said "fuck me," followed by another voice that said, "but the big people are looking." I realized my shirt's inside out. Anyway, so just forget that happened. Uh, Fuck me, but the big people are looking, and that's not an adult. An adult wouldn't say that. A child would say the big people are looking. And I remember that was the very first child I heard. And when you're, I don't know, a woman who's like me, I mean, I'm not anti-sexual. I'm just hold that personally very very intimately, and I don't let people talk to me negative. I don't let people talk to me dirty. Plus, it's a child, and any adult, you hear that, I mean, you're out of your mind, sick, worried, scared for the child. I ran straight to the police. I ran straight to him, and I took my computer with me and I showed it to him, and he was impressed with what I was capable of recording from a distance, and he heard it, but he said it still wasn't enough evidence because he wasn't there when it happened. And I understand there's laws to protect other people as well. I understand that, and then in order for them to do certain things, they have to have certain types of evidence. And I understand, and sometimes people would use that, well, the cops aren't helping, and place blame on the cops for that. And I never did that. Never blamed the cops. Not at that point. I started blaming the cops when the voices were telling me it was the cops. I never really blamed the cops, though. It was like the FBI. Like, Okaloosa County told me that the FBI was the bad ones, and then they switched it up, and I started getting confused. Like, who really is the bad ones? But I understand how criminal law works, and I've always held a high respect for it, even as a criminal. You get that? Like, even as a criminal, I understand how it works. And I understand that they have a job to do and that they have to protect both parties at all times. They are not the lawyers. They are not, they're police officers. It is not their job to find you innocent. It is their job to hold safety. You understand that? And safety goes for both parties. They actually have a harder job than the court system because they have to make sure that both parties stay safe. But I was scared for those women and children. I heard them. I mean, if this ever reaches Okaloosa County, the Christian Police Department, Suzanne Barron, you know what I went through. I called the cops over 50 times that year. The cops knew who I was. But there was an officer that did hear that, fuck me, the big people are looking. There was an officer that believed me when I thought a young lady was kidnapped. She went missing. I called, reported her. Um, I heard her screaming out there. I heard her screaming, "Save me, save me." I dug holes under my property. I dug 10-foot holes all over my yard. Hoping to find a tunnel that maybe they were under my house, but even if they weren't under my house, maybe I'd find a tunnel that would give evidence because I can't go digging holes all over somebody else's property. That's against the law. As long as I'm digging holes on my property, I can do whatever I want. But if I found a tunnel that reached to somebody else's property, then that would be grounds. That'd be evidence. So I was digging 10-foot holes, at least, I don't know, 6, 8 of them. I had a cop come look down the hole. One cop said he's not putting his head in the hole. It was kind of crazy. But the point is, I sought help from everyone. I sought help from everyone, family, my friends, my pastor, the police officers. And when I couldn't reach help from all those people, I started asking my clients to help me. My clients, because I had run out of options. It's not something you tell a client while you're cleaning their house. And then I held on to a few because I still needed to make a living, right? I had lost so many of them. And I guess the demons realized that I was going to keep those and couldn't risk anymore. I still had to survive. I had to pay my mortgage on that land. And needed to eat, car insurance, all that stuff. So then they told me they would kill the women if I left. But they didn't say, don't leave, we'll kill the women. They would start whispering, like, I would hear them say, as soon as she's gone, we're going to kill them and we're going to get rid of the evidence. And I hear that, like, oh, fuck, I can't leave. I can't leave because I need to save their life. And so then I couldn't go to work. So then I did lose all of my clients.
You are so stupid. Look at you. No, you can't. Stupid, stupid. Pointless. Worthless. Stupid.
But you touched that, wouldn't you?
If we so
You touched that, and they know.
So I was just sitting there with no money, no food, didn't have anywhere to go, didn't know what I was doing. I still didn't give up though. Digging, worn out, exhausted. I'm almost ready to give up. And that's when things started to change. That's when the voice was so heavy that I had to climb out of bed naked. That's when the voices started telling me they were FBI and it was sex trafficking. When I had no means to support myself, when I had nothing, when I had tried everything, when I had nothing left to try, nothing left that they could push me on, they switched the game on me. They switched it. Because I was just looking for women. They used my neighbor to try to convince. He came to my house one day. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like crying in tears, like somebody tell me, somebody help me. And he comes in and he tells me about this. I'm thinking he's not actually gonna tell me. He's all like comes in real quiet, like sneaky like, and he's like in tears and he's like wanting to admit something. And I'm like, man, if you just help me, I'll help you. I knew he was going through something, but I didn't quite understand. I thought he was part of it, and then there was days I'm like, he can't be part of it. Look at how he's acting. He's acting like me, and it was like a spiritual attack. And he would tell me when I first got out there. And I know I'm jumping. When I first got out there, he said he was going through something. I didn't understand what he was talking about. I didn't know what he was going through. He looked out of his mind. He was like sick, like man, this guy's lost his head. And he said that a helper would come. He said I was his helper. I'm like, I'm nobody's helper. Just leave me alone, dude. And then I started going through it. I see what it is now. He was there. He's lived there his whole life. And he said it only started like 5 years back for him. Right after he started hearing voices telling him that he was going to run over a kid. And about 6 months later goes by, something like that. And guess what? He hit an 11-year-old boy. And I believe him. Because I heard I was going to lose my land. I heard I was going to go to jail. I heard all those things. And it happened. I believe him. He's the one in the video that hears the things where I said he's so close. He's the one. But he come in my room and he tells me that it's the CIA to put bugs in my house. I'm like, dude, why would they do that? Like, I'm like, you're an idiot, man. Get away from me. If you're not gonna be honest with me, just get away from me. Because I never believed it. Not coming from a human, I wasn't gonna believe that. But then he leaves. A little while goes by, a week, and I start hearing little things that I start to believe it. Because I'm hearing things differently. They're not women and children now, and it's different. And then it's like the FBI are the ones who are like crooked cop situation, like they're like over the sex trafficking. That don't make sense. But look, I've had a cup of coffee and cut this short right here. But it was a demonic spirit attacking me, and I did hear Jesus on that land. He was the one that said, Suzanne. I heard my name a few times. He was the one who said, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. He was the one who said, she doesn't deserve this much suffering. She's looking to the right God. He was the one that, when I was on my bed, urinating in cups because I was so afraid to go to the bathroom, because of that voice that was so heavy, the first time I'd ever heard it, screaming, 16 hours. They said I was there 16 hours. The voices tell me that. So I think that's a prophetical number too, because I was on my land 16 months. There's a lot of numbers with 16, so I don't really know how long I was there, but I know I hit a daylight and a nighttime and another daylight. That much I do know. So I was there for a minute, and I stayed on my bed the whole time, and I peed in cups alongside my bed because I was too afraid to get up to go to the bathroom. I was too afraid to get up. I could not. I tried. I couldn't go. I was so scared. And he was the one who told me to get out of there and get to safety. And I basically crawled. I crawled out of there to my car to get out of there, to go sit in a parking lot. Slept in a parking lot. Now, how many times have I slept in a parking lot? I'd leave my land and fear to go sleep in a parking lot and then have to come back because I had nowhere else to go. All right, that's enough. Thank you.